So guys, I'm having to use my cell phone right now, and I have a situation going on that I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. So in the past, when we've ordered chicks through the mail, they've come first thing in the morning, and you get a call and you go get them. Now, you don't always know exactly when they're going to show up, but I've always gotten the call first thing in the morning. Go get the chicks, set them up, no problem. Well, today, it came out to be around 3:30 today. I get a phone call from the larger post office in the city next to us, and they tell me, the lady sounded concerned, and she's like, hey, I want to let you know we got a box of chicks for you that didn't make a truck this morning to your post office, but they're on the way. You need to make sure they're by 5 o'clock to pick them up. Well, I let about 45-50 minutes go by and came to my local post office, and they're not here yet. They said that they're supposedly on the way, that they got the same phone call that I did, and that asked me just to hang out until they show up. Well, I'm a little concerned. I stopped by the local feed store to grab some chick starter feed because I didn't have that on hand, and the guy pretty much told me that the larger post office near me is terrible at handling chickens, and that they've had the same situation happen before and ultimately end up with a box full of deceased chickens. So we're fingers crossed that that's not going to be our situation. I didn't plan on these chickens arriving today, which isn't the end of the world. My only concern, though, is the amount of time that may have happened since these guys have been shipped. So, guys, let's really hope that it's going to work out fine. I'm going to get these things as soon as they're ready. We're going to get them home. We're going to get them unboxed, and hopefully I can show you how things turned out. Right now, my biggest concern is that the chickens are going to be fine. We're going to get them home, get them set up, and everything's going to be good. So we're going to stand by, and I'll update you here just shortly. Well, guys, you can see there's the box of chickens. I can hear a lot of cheeping in there, so hopefully that's a good sign. Everything's going to be good to go. But right now, we're going to get straight to the house, get these guys unloaded, get them under some heat and some water, and we're going to hope everybody's good to go. All right, so we just got home from the post office, and we got a lot of cheeping. Now, we're only keeping 15, and my buddy Paul's coming to get the other 15, so we'll make sure everybody's good to go, and we'll start trying to get a few of them into the brooder here that we just set up. Well, we're looking pretty good.
Can I hold one?
In a minute. So if you notice, these ones are black, even though they're meat birds. This is a new breed that we'll talk about more in the time to come, but they're called a gray broiler, and I'll talk about why I got them here after a little bit. But right now, we're just going to make sure everybody looks pretty good as far as I can tell. So we're going to try to get them loaded up in here, get our 15, and wait for Paul to come get his 15.
Oh yeah, there's a two-tone one that's like
I want
white and
that
black.
Well,
I'll go check.
can you count, Madison? See how many we got?
4, 5. We have 5.
Let me know when I get to 15. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yep, what?
Alright guys, so as you can see, I've been able to change clothes, and we've been able to settle down a little bit now. So we actually ordered 30 from a company called Meyer Poultry. It's not Meyer's Hatchery. There's a difference there. I found Meyer's Poultry randomly on the internet, and we ordered 30 of what they call gray broilers. The images that they show a chicken that looks very similar to a barred rock, but they're supposed to be much bigger and larger, more of what we think of when we think of a meat chicken, such as a Cornish Cross or a Red Ranger. I started searching for this particular breed because one of our subscribers Tiny Toad Farm, they actually shared with me a Canadian breed that they have out there called, I think it's pronounced Minstrel Gris. I could be totally butchering that thing, but nonetheless, I started researching that breed after they told me about it, and I was very intrigued by it. But I could not find those things anywhere in the United States. And I really wanted to try them, and I just had no luck finding anybody who would sell them here in the United States or was able to get them. So during my research, I found one hatchery that had a chicken that looked very similar both in looks and its description. Now I reached out to Meyer Poultry to ask them if by chance are these the same breed but with a different title, and honestly they never responded back to me. I went ahead and took a chance. I ordered from them. Fortunately though, as you can see, all of the chickens survived. All 31 actually made it just fine, and they appear to be quite healthy. There are maybe one or two that are a little smaller than the rest, but overall all 31 were healthy, alive, seemed to be good to go. My buddy Paul's already came and got his 15, and I kept back 16 of the 31. We'll see how well these chickens do. In terms of Meyer Poultry as a company, the quality of the chick looks very good and healthy. If there was any downfall to my dealings with the company, is communication wasn't the greatest. Like I said, they didn't respond to my initial email that I sent them asking about the breed itself. And then also, after I submitted the order, I didn't get any kind of order confirmation or nothing. So I screenshotted the final payment that showed that they've received the order, but I didn't actually get an email confirming my order. So overall, we'll see how these birds develop and the overall quality of this gray broiler. And we'll share that experience with you compared to the Red Rangers and the Cornish that we raised in the past. But in terms of thus far, quality of the chick, health of the chick, and shipping on time, they were good to go. In terms of communication, not the best. What do you think of your chicks?
I love them so much.
Hey, but you do understand these are meat chickens, right?
I know. I don't want to eat them though.
Well, they're always cute when they're babies, but when they get older, they're not as cute. So typically, I'll go over my setup real quick, and so everybody knows, because we do got some of our subscribers that are new chicken owners or exploring raising chickens, or maybe have raised chickens but not raised chicks. So let's talk about that real briefly. So number one, as soon as I got home, I immediately set up my container, which I typically use Rubbermaid containers, but a friend of mine let me use his metal trough, and there's a reason for that we'll talk about in a future video. And I got their pine shavings put in there, and the number one thing though is get this heat lamp up. Now what I like to use for my heat lamps, because you will adjust their heat lamps over time as they get older because they don't need as much heat, is that I like to use, my garage is a mess, don't pay attention to that, but I'll use a ratchet strap tied in to the heat lamp right here. And then so all I need to do, like when I initially put them in here, I could tell it was too hot. So I just ratcheted my ratchet strap and it raised it up in small increment. And what I'll pretty much do is usually about each week, a couple cranks, and it'll just move that heat lamp by small subtle changes so you don't get great drastic changes in your heat to your chicks, and they can acclimate a little bit better that way. After we do that, we make sure that water is number one. I left these chicks in here for about 30 minutes with just their water so they could get used to that and get hydrated. And then as you saw, I introduced the food. Now in the past, I have used a homemade kind of thing to keep shavings out. That was some wood with some hardware cloth over it. But I actually had this when I got my feed barrels. These were actually in the bottom of the feed barrels that our feed barrels came. They were Greek banana peppers is what came in them. And I'm guessing this was to keep the banana peppers from settling all the way to the bottom. So I actually saved these back because I thought they would work good for this purpose. And so far, I think it's going to be a pretty good idea, and it's going to do what we need it to do. So the coloring on these chickens is pretty neat. Some of them are very black with a little white spot on the top of their head, kind of like a barred rock chick would have. But then you get some of them that have a little more yellow to them, and then there's one that's almost all yellow, and then some even have a little bit of brown. Like this one is my favorite, and he's like a chocolate brown color, and it's a gorgeous looking chicken. Most of them look a lot like this guy, where he's more solid black with a little bit of white on top of its head. And that's what 90% of these guys look like. But then you get some like this guy, and he's a mixed bag of coloring with yellows and black. And then I got this random guy who's pretty much mostly like a lighter golden color, or something like I'd expect from our Freedom Rangers in the past. So I'm quite interested to see how these guys develop and how their coloring changes, and if there is a big variety in them as they get bigger. But we'll keep you up to date. And today was a shocker, and we didn't lose any chickens. So we're going to count our blessings and we're going to raise these guys up and hopefully have some good, healthy, homegrown, pasture-raised chicken here on our property very soon. Well guys, today was literally an impromptu day of recording because I didn't expect to get these chickens today, nor did I expect it to be at that time of the day. It's one thing when it's first thing in the morning, but not in the afternoon. But it just goes to show you that if you're going to order from a hatchery, they can't guarantee a lot of stuff when they're sending live animals. So you got to understand, when you place this order, you got to be very flexible in your schedule. And if you're not able to be flexible to go get these things, then you're probably better suited to limit what breeds you can buy in your local area, so that way you can get them as it's convenient for you. Or at least at your feed stores and stuff, if they get them, you know, they can kind of care for them for a little while for you till you can come get them. So guys, we look forward to this new journey with the new breed of meat chicken. I'm excited to see how they turn out. I'm excited to bring you along with us. I hope you're able to learn something from this kind of last minute impromptu experience that we had to take care of today. So guys, but until then, y'all be good. And as always, we appreciate you. We love having you along with us. Y'all be good, and we'll see you here real soon on the next video.